break someone's clavicle on 3. 1, 2, 3, break someone's clavicle!
Fox Sports 1280 Rochester and Salvatores.com present Kick This, the Soccer Sam Show.
The kick is good! It's good!
Brought to you by Salvatore's Old Fashioned Pizzeria, Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips, Donuts Delight at Empire and Culver, the Rochester Lancers at rlancers.com.
Yeah. Kick.
Now, live from the Fox Sports 1280 studios in downtown Rochester, this is Kick This.
Good morning, soccer fans. Good morning, the world of soccer. If you're listening on iHeartRadio worldwide, my friends on the beaches in the Boca Raton, hope you girls are doing good out there. I want a special thanks to Matt Goldman, who hosted our show last week. Matt did an amazing job. He had Elliot Fauski, the Mohican Warrior, on from Africa, live from Africa. Great story there. He had Kiwi Lions on. Good stuff there. So thanks, Matt. I had a great week with my grandkids in Florida. Did a lot of cool things. But, you know, we got a couple special guests in the studio we're going to go to in a minute. But a lot of you people that aren't soccer fans have been following this World Cup FIFA thing, or the FIFA thing, and you're jumping on the bandwagon like all these sports media people are just jumping on the bandwagon. They don't know anything about it. But, you know,
hold on a second,
yeah,
Soccer Sam. Soccer Sam's FIFA views are not of the stations or sponsors, Soccer Sam's family and friends, or his masseuse Bambi.
Okay, that's true.
They're his views only.
These are my views only. Sepp Blatter, I call him Sepp, I can't hold my bladder, is a great man and is a great leader. That's the truth. You can say what you want, you can read what you want. I'll tell you, when they gave me my lobotomy, they left me with one thing: common sense. This is what common sense tells me. 14 people were indicted. 14 people, right? 2 days before the election. And guess what? Guess who's running up against Sepp Blatter? The Prince Ali from Jordan, who was appointed by U.S. Soccer. Okay? Isn't it kind of weird that 2 days before a huge election and Sepp Blatter refuses to change his mind on Qatar. There's a questionable thing about Qatar, picking Qatar to be the 2022 World Cup. But 2 days before the election, suddenly 14 people get arrested. I'm telling you this. I guarantee you, out of those 14 people, probably 4 of them are guilty, which happens at every level of politics or any big government body or NFL, anything. There's corruption everywhere, unfortunately. But you have to give Sepp Blatter, I can't hold my bladder, credit. What this man has done for the world of soccer since 1998. You think about this. Now, I know that these guys that are corrupt, they voted on Qatar. I think there's a handful, there's probably 2 people that were corrupt, in my opinion. Maybe 4. I'm thinking it's 2 and they're related. But let's say it was 4. But if you follow what he's done in the World Cup, and not him, but the people voting, 2006 in Germany was the last time that a World Cup was held in a country that really had their soccer powers together. They had their infrastructure put together, the youth system strong. Well, in 2010, they went to South Africa. They changed that whole country, just like they changed the USA in 1996 when they came here. 1994 when they came here. In 96, we got the MLS, right? So what happens to MLS? 20 years later, we have a strong soccer league. We have USL Pro. We have NASL. We have indoor leagues, futsal leagues, all kinds of soccer leagues because of the World Cup in 94. That's what it did to the U.S. So what he does is like, okay, soccer's big in Africa, but at the pro level and at the structured level, it was weak. So they have the World Cup in 2010 in South Africa. 2014, a friend of mine is in the studio right now, they had the World Cup in Brazil. Brazil is a huge, huge, strong country for soccer, but they hadn't had new stadiums in many, many years. Their infrastructures were down. The youth programs were kind of poor. The fields were brown. A lot of things. And in my opinion, maybe, just maybe, and this is where the political thing comes in, Pelé, 74 years old, maybe his last World Cup. Maybe we vote a little heavy on having it in Brazil because of Pelé and what he's done for soccer. Let's face it, Pelé made soccer all over the world what it is today. 2018, where's the World Cup going to be? In case you non-soccer fans don't know, it's going to be in Russia. Again, maybe a political power, but not a soccer power. So now you have it in a country where now you build the soccer infrastructure. Now you maybe get a pro league going. That's what I think some of these guys are voting for. They're not voting for the bribes, and I'm sure there's a few that do get bribes, but they're voting on building the game of soccer throughout the world. The questionable one is 2022 Qatar. Now, I know the U.S. wanted it here. All of us wanted it here in 2022. But let's face it, MLS is operated by billionaires. They don't need a World Cup to help soccer in America right now. It would help it for the month of the World Cup. But we have a strong youth program. We have strong systems going on. Our college systems are strong. I mean, soccer in America has made it, other than the fact some teams don't know how to market. You take that out of the way, soccer's made it. But it hasn't made it in Qatar. So here's a country that, hey, we're a small country. We want to be part of this. We want to build our soccer program. So they put in their bids, just like teams bid to have golf tournaments in their cities, and back in the day, soccer leagues bid on what team was going to host the finals. I mean, they bid on that. So everyone who wants to point their finger to Sepp Blatter and his people, I'm telling you this. Why did he win that vote? Why did he win the vote by a landslide after all this negative press? Because the people there in that room know what Sepp, I can't hold my bladder, has done for the game of soccer throughout the world. That's the bottom line. You don't have to be a soccer fan to believe it, to understand it, but you soccer fans deep down, you know it. The man, think about it, the World Cup is bigger now than the Super Bowl, the NBA playoffs, the Final Four, the NHL. Put them all together, they look like a house league final compared to the World Cup. The World Cup is a machine, and Sepp Blatter, since 1998, helped build that machine. Sepp Blatter is a great man, and if he wasn't in his late 70s, I'd say he'd be a great president for whatever country he could be a president for. He speaks 4 different languages. He can maybe run for president somewhere. That's all I got. If you don't like it, too bad. Rent an hour, do your own show, but that's my feeling of it. Now we're going to go back. To Kick This. Richie, can I go back to Kick This? Do you do the opening music or not? Can you do that just so I can get in the zone a little bit? You know what pissed me off? These media people, these mainstream media people, don't cover soccer for anything. All of a sudden, something a little negative, that's all they talk about. Because they're trying to destroy the sport. Because they know it's the greatest sport in the world. They know these guys work 90 minutes, no helmets, no telephones on the bench calling their mommy. I just ran 20 yards. Mom, I'm okay, though. I mean, they don't deflate soccer balls. They're real athletes. And then what the media do? They're mad at that. They try to take advantage of it.
Did you get to hear any of the audio from...
I heard the audio, but it was... I mean, I've been listening to audio on it. The bottom line is the guy's a great speaker. To get that many countries, we talked about it earlier. Yeah. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Let me bring on my special guest, can I?
Go ahead.
I have from the Rochester Lancers, Kayla Clark-Kent. Good morning, Kayla.
Good morning, Sam.
And Marcelo, goalkeeper extraordinaire, Brazilian World Cup goalkeeper for Indoor World Cup. How are you?
Good. Thanks, Sam.
Well, I know we're going to talk about World Cup a little bit. Richie asked me if I heard the audio, and I've been listening. You guys have been listening and following this whole World Cup story. To me, the corruption part of it is that the United States of America decided 2 days before an election to bust these people, knowing that the U.S. wanted the Prince to win. Because if Prince wins, he may change that Qatar thing. Sepp Blatter made it clear, I'm not changing my mind on Qatar. The World Cup in 2022 is going to be in Qatar. If the Prince wins it, hey, U.S. may have a chance. So talk about corruption. I mean, that's corruption. Let's bust 14 possible innocent people, maybe a few more guilty, but that's corruption. Do it a month before the election. 6 months before. If this has been going on for 2 decades, Marcelo, 2 decades is 20 years, right? Yeah. Why didn't they bust them a year ago? They did it 2 days before the election. That's mafia, man.
Well, then they begged for them not to have the election. They said, they tried to put... I just want to play one little piece of sound for you. Just one little piece. This is from Sepp here, your buddy, and this is right before they
Sepp, I can't hold my bladder?
Yeah, this right before they did the vote. This is what he said as he was making his final comments before the vote. This is it.
An interpreter or him?
What football needs
interpreter
right now is a strong leader, an experienced leader, a leader that knows all the ins and outs of the situation. We need to work with our economic partners.
How to get bribes and not get caught.
Also work with our political partners. And we need to work on the pitch. Discipline, fair play, respect.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sepp,
thank you very much.
Sepp, I can't hold my bladder.
That I'll be able to be with you in an hour or two.
Yes, you will.
It's up to you. Thank you.
Are. For the next 4 years, Sepp, you are the leader, and I guarantee you out of those 14 guys, most of them be acquitted, including a friend of the show who was on the show before. His name is Aaron Davidson. Aaron Davidson runs Traffic, which is based, I think, not out of Brazil. I think maybe it is Brazil. But Traffic, Aaron runs Traffic, but he also runs the NASL. So there's another thing that hasn't come out yet, but let's say...
Well, I have one point to make. When he finished that speech, they immediately cut back to the announcers, and the one announcer goes, I can picture him there petting his cat as he's plotting to take over the world after he's saying that speech. So
it was a great speech, but, I mean, the guy's a great leader. I mean, to get that many people, we talked about it. Kayla's here. Kayla, we have a staff meeting, 5 people, right? We can't agree on anything. You know, people are yelling, people are crying, people are ready to walk out in 2 minutes, right? This guy has all these powerful people from around the world sit in a room, and they agree on things because he's that kind of leader, and that's what you need. You need a powerful leader. This Prince guy might have been a good leader, but he has no experience, and I'm not convinced. I think there is corruption at every level, at everything. I'm not sure it's everyone. Marcelo, what did the World Cup do to your country, Brazil? Did it help the country or did it hurt the country?
No, they help, yeah. But the problem in Brazil is if they have to put some money to build a new stadium, okay, they build, it costs like $500 million.
$500 million, yeah.
Yeah, but the people in Brazil, the engineer, everybody, they charge in 100 million.
Right.
800 million.
That's how it is in almost every country. Yeah. It's like that here in America, too. I mean, it's like that. If you're going to have someone do a roadway or an expressway, I mean, it's probably 20 times more than it really probably could be. And that's just how it is. I mean...
So that's the reason the people in Brazil was so hungry. Angry about the World Cup because people die in hospitals. People have no public school. So, hey, if you want to put money in a new stadium, you can put money in a new hospital, new school. So that was everybody saw in.
But how do you feel? I mean, do you feel like I feel? I'd rather have a new stadium than a new school or a new hospital. Come on, I mean, come on.
I like soccer,
I'm only joking.
But
you know that
my people die in the hospital.
Oh.
I can't agree with this.
I'm sorry.
My people die, and so sure, we have a good side, for the World Cup in Brazil because we have a new roads and new stadium. But only one example: Brazil, the government, our president, don't charge FIFA any tax. They have to pay. Every country they make a World Cup, they have to pay tax. So my president. She said, no, you guys, FIFA, you guys don't need to pay tax here in Brazil. So the World Cup in Brazil was the
biggest moneymaker ever.
Yes.
And if Brazil would have charged taxes...
We need that money. It's our money.
But you can't blame FIFA and the World Cup for that. I mean, what it did do, it gave you a lot of new roads, a lot of new expressways to these stadiums, these beautiful new stadiums that kids for many, many years could enjoy. But it was up to the government to use the proceeds from FIFA and the tax dollars to build the hospitals and fix the hospitals and the schools and all things that concern you. But they didn't do that. That's not FIFA's fault. I mean, they it's like you give somebody an opportunity to make money. They didn't pull it off properly, maybe.
Yes, two sides. I know. Like I said, FIFA World Cup was it was a good thing for Brazil, but it could be better. But our government. So yeah.
Are you mad though? Are you mad because Brazil didn't win the World Cup a little bit? Just a little bit as part of you?
Sure, always. I don't like when I lose, like, rock, scissors, and paper. And so can you imagine like World Cup or a game or something? So